He's strong.
That's a good one. Yeah, but picture worthy. Look at that. That's like a 4.5, 5. Whew. Hey guys, this is going to be my little DIY assembly here, or a modification of a few baits. Like I said, I'm going to do some Buzzbaits and this little mini A-rig by Booyah. It's called the Alpine rig. So I got two different kind of Buzzbaits, right, or two different brands of Buzzbaits. This is one of my favorite ones. It comes like this, unskirted, just bare. This is the Booyah Baits Buzzbait. And it's really good bait. It's got a good keeper. I like the style of the head. It kind of lets, keeps it keeled, but also lets stuff float, or lets it float over stuff or move over stuff as you're reeling it in. I got this one from the local tackle shop, carries Tacklebox, and it's like a kind of baby bass colored head. I'm actually going to paint this one with some paint markers to show you how to do it. This is a Strikeking King Buzz, so this is how it comes, but with a skirt. And as you can see, I took the skirt off. And so yeah, let's see what we can do. I forgot the blade. Let me grab it. So yeah, I like to switch the blades out. I like the King blade. It's a good one. I keep them. This 3-bladed aluminum one, it's a little more subtle than a big 2-blade or a clacker, and you can move it a little slower. It's got a little more resistance. And that's kind of what I like in Buzzbaits, just because I feel like it's a little different than what most people throw. But you can buy these. These are plastic quad blades. I'll look up who makes them. I forget at the moment. I have it. I'll put the link in the description. But D&M Tackle, I think, makes a Buzzbait with them, and I think they're even the same ones that are on some of the Mega Bass Buzzbaits. But you can buy a pack of 10 of these for really cheap off of Tackle Warehouse, and that's what I ended up buying these. And so I'm going to switch the blade. These clear quad blades, I feel like, are even more subtle than those. Pretty much don't give off any flash. All they do is churn the water, and they don't make quite as much noise. Not always a thing. Like, I do like a clacking Buzzbait, or, you know, a double buzz even sometimes, but a lot of times I like this more subtle presentation, and it goes really well with this Buzzbait. So first thing we got to do is take this blade off. I'm going to keep it. I might decide to use it again, and this one actually has some nice gold flake on the blade, painted on top of the aluminum, so it's a nice touch. So all you got to do is bend the tab, or the tag end here of the wire. I just got some pliers here. Just got to straighten it out. Go. Get it a little bit straighter, because the hole on the plastic blade's a little smaller, and so it's just as easy as putting it on again. Slide it on. There is a rivet mounted inside and popped out, but you can just slide it back in, just because my wire wasn't totally straight. And it just goes right back in. Cool. Just nudging it in with the pliers. Then I'm going to take this other rivet and put that it came on the blade and put it on, just like that. And so this one came with the wire holding it in up. And there's a little more play. This blade is longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move bend it a little closer up so there's a little less play in the blade. I like the blade to be as tight as it can, but still loose enough to spin freely, so not like snug, just, you know, with a little less play. And I bend it down just to kind of keep it from catching weeds. I feel like it's in line with the wire in front, and it's just less likely to catch a little piece of grass or something. As a recurring theme, if you watch me and how I fish, I hate it when a little piece of grass ruins a cast or presentation, because sometimes that's all you get with a good fish is one try, and if they see it's fake, then you're shot, and they're not going to catch that fish. So, just gotta get the wire started. There it goes. Gonna bend it straight down. So then now the blade's on there, but I'm going to trim this excess wire real quick. You don't need hardly any hanging down. There's my dikes. Here we go. Just going to make sure I got it bent the way I want. So now it's bent down. Straighten it a little. Well, there's still extra. Just lining it up with the wire of the bait. And then I'm going to snip it, not all the way tight, but pretty tight, tighter than they come. It's good wire, so you got to use good clippers, good dikes to get it. And there you go. So now clear blade's on there, and the wire is pointed down, and it spins freely. So one of the other things I like to do, since I don't run a skirted buzzbait, this actually, like I said, comes unskirted, is that I found I like to throw one of these LIVETRAGET skip shads. This one's not brand new, but it's still in pretty good shape. I think I tried to fish this kind of as a jerk bait at one point, and the nose is a little ripped. And the thing you need to know about these and gluing them is that you can't use Mend It. This is not plastisol. It's not like what normal rubber worms and stuff are made from. Either are these, the River2Sea D-Walkers. They're silicone. But so I'm going to put this on here, but as anyone knows, even with a good keeper, a soft bait, it's going to get pulled down. And so since Mend It doesn't really work, super glue kind of works. I actually found that if I use silicone, sealing silicone, just what you'd use for your windows and whatnot, this is some just clear stuff. It takes a while to dry, so you want to do this like at least a day ahead of time, or at least overnight if it's kind of warm. But so there is a top to these LIVETRAGETs. There's a slit, and then it's flat on the other side, kind of like if you were going to Texas rig it. But I'll just kind of, the key is to try to pop it out straight so that this will keel straight, and I'm going to mount it like that. And man, this thing works. I don't think they ever see anything, especially if you have shad in your lake. I've need to get some other colored bait fish in this kind of style, like a shiner would be good. So yeah, there's this laminate silicone is over like a different type of plastic that the shad is printed on. So it's kind of tricky to get the hook in straight. So you just kind of got to be careful and just kind of keep it also the same depth in the bait, and then kind of pop the hook out where you lined it up beforehand. And yeah, you see, so I'm almost there. If you can see, it's a little bent still. So just need to go a little further. Pull it back off. Back out and just go a little past the hole that came out last time. And so you want it to sit flat and even and up on the head, just like that. And so when you pull this through the water, at one speed it'll just go straight like a normal buzzbait. If you go faster, it'll start to do this with the buzz. And man, they destroy it. But so yeah, let's glue this on. So I'm going to slide it back down just a little, past the hook keepers. Just going to squeeze out some of this silicone. I lost the cap, so I just have a rivet in there. Any silicone will work. I just like this. This is what I had laying around from a project here in the studio. Just put a dab on my finger. I'm going to put it on the head of the buzzbait. Kind of glob it around. It's kind of goopy compared to super glue. And then you slide this back on straight. And just kind of smear it all around to get on the bait. Get a little bit more in that one spot, but I did bring some paper towels. Just kind of wiping some off the head of the bait. It gets kind of sticky otherwise. And so there's a little gap there. I'm gonna stick a little bit more in. Just where the bait kind of ripped from when I used it before. So I didn't throw it away because I knew I could use this technique. And I'm just putting a little bit of more under this keeled head so that it holds in place. And there you go. And there you go. You can see I have the silicone all around that head, and there's a little on the shaft of the hook in there. The bait straight, barb pointed down, clear blade on. This is what I call my finesse-ish buzzbait. It's still a big presentation and it still gets big bites, but yeah, this is one of my favorite buzzbaits at the moment. So I'm just going to hang it up to dry off to the side here because that glue is going to take a while. And that silicone, I guess, is not really glue. Good one. Skinny but big. But yeah, so I got another one here. And I'm going to do the same clear blade. But if you look at this one, this is a smaller one. This is the next size up. So it's got a smaller hook. So I'm not going to use the same big live target style bait. I actually kind of just hit the head of this with a wire wheel on a grinder to get the paint off. And I was just going to kind of touch it up with some paint markers here to make it look a little more like this actual baby bass, MC Swimbaits baby bass bait that I'm going to attach to this, just like that. It's not the best fit, but I think it'll work. Might have to do a little trim of the belly there. But yeah, step one, let's put some white on it. Get a sheet of paper to, piece of paper to get my paint pen. So these are just some acrylic paint pens I have here in the studio. You can just use an airbrush or just even model paint. A lot of people use these paint pens for models. So start with the lightest color first, which is white, obviously. Just gonna get that a little on the head there. Gonna do the top of the head in black, and there's gonna be a little green in the middle, but let's start with white. Just kind of putting it on the whole thing. Not really on the keeper too much. Alright, so I'm just going to let that dry. A little touch right there. Let that dry a little bit. Let me see if it's dry. Let's see. Yeah, so that's one nice thing about these acrylic pens. They dry pretty quick. So I'm going to do a little green next. Well, maybe not. This green's dead. Do I have another one? Yeah. I have an airbrush, so I could do a whole airbrush thing to this if I wanted to, but I didn't feel like setting it up today, and I wanted to have this ready. Even though it's dead winter, if they start feeding up shallow, it's about to be pre-spawn, I wanted to have a buzzbait ready. Alright, so now the green's on there. I'll be right back and we'll put the black on. Alright guys, we're back. Did a little stuff off camera. I decided to take apart that other Strikeking Buzz King I had sitting here, a little bigger one, and I painted the head just like this one. You saw me start these, and then I put little stick-on eyeballs and then coated them in 5-minute epoxy. Well, I'm going to show you how to do the 5-minute epoxy clear. Had to do one more, so I figured I'd show it to you guys. Just put a little bit of 5-minute epoxy, equal parts of the resin, adding a hardener. And then you mix it up. There's a white head. Just took that same paint markers and did some black and green. And I put 2 stick-on eyes. They're just barely stuck on there. And I'm just going to brush a little of this 5-minute epoxy over it. And you don't have to do this. This is just going to make it stay better. Won't get chipped. The paint won't come off right away when you hit cover or when fish bite it. And really I should have like a little rotator for this, but since it's just a jig head, what I'll do is I'll hang it from the hook and some of the epoxy will drip down and I'll just scrape it off. So yeah, that's it. That's how you do a little 5-minute clear coat on a lure. This one's a buzzbait. Just gonna hang it above here and basically 10 minutes I'd say it'd be ready. 5-minute epoxy is a little optimistic. I find it takes about 10 minutes for it to dry or cure. Not the best looking paint jobs I've done, but these are buzzbaits. They move quickly, and I don't know about you, but I lose a lot of buzzbaits too because I tend to throw them in heavy cover and around that kind of stuff. But so yeah, I kind of decided to change things up a little. And we'll start with the one that I was showing you the other day. We'll put the clear blade on it. And it should just slide on. I'm just gotta line up the hole. And that little rivet wants to pop out like it did on the other one. There it is. The nice thing about putting these blades on these baits is that the blades are already kind of a similar size and shape, so actually doesn't change the action of the bait too much. Oh yeah, here's this one done from yesterday. So we'll put the rivet on. Sometimes you can put a bead up here, a little metal bead, if you want this to sit a little further back, because like I said, you want this to be kind of tight. You don't want a lot of play. That way it just starts up right away. That extra little slide back is just more time for it to get started, and it also is just more resistance in the air. Buzzbaits are not the easiest things to cast. Alright, I don't think I have any beads that would work. No. I was going to show you that if I had one, but I don't. But so there it is. It's just on there. Grab the pliers again. That's the only reason you don't want to cut it super short, is that you want to be able to bend that up if you need to. So there's that one. And then I'll put this blade, since I got all the tools out, onto this. And I'm just going to use the blade that it came with, but I just painted it black. I just used some spray paint, a tiny bit of primer, and some flat black I had laying around from another project. I like black blades on darker spinner baits. And you know, since I was taking this thing apart, I might as well spruce it up a little. I'm just going to put this blade back on the way it came, and except for tightening it up a little, just like I did on the other one. So I decided to build this one up because it's just a little bigger one. It's the next size up from this one. So I'm going to add the skirt and the swim bait that I was going to put on this one onto this one. It's just a better fit. And I think it'll look great. That's one of the reasons I went with the green. So when you get skirts, I don't normally put skirts on my buzzbaits, as I said, but every now and then it's good to have one. I haven't thrown one in a while, so I'm going to make this one. But so when the skirt comes out of the package, when you buy them pre-cut like this with a band, one end is shorter than the other end. You want to put the long end up towards the head as you put the hook on, and that way it'll lay down flat. And I like to put the lighter color on the bottom for this one. It's going to go on like that. Kind of just open it up. And you can adjust it once you get it on there. Just slide it on. Lick it a little to get some lubrication, get the skirt over the bait keeper there. Well, I guess it's more of a skirt keeper on these. They don't really have a bait keeper. That's one of the things, drawbacks to this. Kind of just adjusting the skirt so I get the lighter color on the bottom. See? I'm going to trim it too at some point, although it looks pretty close. With a lot of baits with a skirt, you don't want the skirt to go too far past the bend of the hook. But as you can see, that kind of works already. That skirt and hook combo. Let me get my super glue. You definitely want to glue these on these because there's no bait keeper, like I said. So on the Buddha one, there was the nice bait keeper on the head, on the lead part. Sometimes there's a wire one, sometimes there's the ones on the lead. And on this, the silicone's all dried, so that's on there good and tight. I mean, it will get ripped off eventually, but it's on there pretty tight. Man, that's a sharp hook. So, buzzbait number one Let's get buzzbait number 2 going here. But so now that the skirt's on there, you can see it sits in the little groove on the lead head. That's where the skirt sits. And when you run it skirtless, you can actually use that kind of as a bait keeper. So I'm going to line this up. You just kind of see where the hook's going to come out on the bait, so you can kind of judge where to pop the hook out and then see if the bait is too long or if it just fits weird in some way. I think that's going to work. And this is a MC Swimbaits trailer. I forget the name of the trailer, but it's MC something, but in baby bass, and so I'm going for that baby bass look with this buzzbait with the skirt. And the color, try to get, looks like a fleeing bass. I'm going to put some glue on the shaft and a little bit. You don't want to get a lot on the lead because then it'll push into the skirt and mess up the action. You want to get it kind of straight. Alright. So there it is. Not sure how it's going to swim yet. It's one of those things you got to kind of test. Sometimes the paddle tail will interfere with the buzz, but I found with these Strikeking Buzz Kings, the triple blade is pretty much going to turn no matter what trailer you have on there. So there's buzzbait number 2, kind of a baby bass color. I wish the green were a little darker in the head that I painted, but as you slide it with a paint marker, so that's all I really had. Now for this one, which was going to be the most finessey of my buzzbaits, I'm going to build this, actually I'm building this to throw this in some super clear water, but they do love topwater there. But here I brought this just in case. This is a Rage Menace Strikeking, and I was using it as a trailer for something, and the end got kind of worn out. So I snipped off like the first 2 rings. I snipped just a little, reshape it a little, just kind of get it back to a rounded shape, not a square. And I think I made it deep enough. Yeah. So same idea. Do we put it that way? Or we put it that way? I'll try it flat because it's going to be on the surface anyway. So it's kind of like putting a more finesse version of a frog, which they'll do a lot on buzzbaits. They'll put a frog on the back, like a toad actually, not a hollow-bodied frog, but a soft-bodied toad. I'm gonna put glue on this because there's less spare plastic on this, so once I put it on, it's on. That's what you gotta watch, is your skin getting stuck to the super glue. It's not straight. I flipped it over because it didn't get it in straight. And with a symmetrical bait like this, both sides are the same, but since I already made a hole on one side, it's a little worn. So I didn't want to do it out the same side. Maybe get a little bit more life out of it that way. Okay, that's a little better. So there's that one. One more type of buzzbait modification. I alluded to it right at the end there. But since I found a good clip to put in the beginning, I decided I should put this in at the end. That fish you saw at the very beginning was on a buzzbait I don't have here, which was rigged similarly, but it was one with a clacker. And I also wanted to show you guys this one. This was a big bite bait buzzbait. I really like the actual bait and size. It's even a little smaller than that Buddha baits one. But one problem with these plastic blades, you can break them. And so I'm missing one blade, and then this thing started swimming all weird. But I could put on a regular blade again. I just wanted to show you. That's the one thing you got to worry about with the plastic blades. It's a good thing they come in packs of 10. But this has a great bait keeper and a nice simple head. River2Sea D-Walker fits real well on there, the open hook. So this is another one of those Strikeking Buzz Kings. It's one that I modified a while ago. It's got the blade on it. I actually have the thing turned up and clipped a little too close. This is what you don't want to do. Clip it so close that you can't bend it again. So I can't really change this one without messing with it a lot. I guess I could cut it and move it closer because it has room, but I'm not going to do that right now. So the head on this hasn't really been modified. I just took the paint off with a wire wheel, just hit it real quick. So this is basically the Buzz King by Strikeking with a different blade on it. And the one we did before had a skirt on it. And this one I'm just going to run as a swim bait. And so I brought the swim bait I'm going to match up with it. It's a little Zoom hollow body. And this is kind of a cool thing to know to do with hollow bodies in general. The one in the video to begin with was a big, like I said, it's a clacker buzzbait. It was a much bigger buzzbait in general, much longer, bigger blade. On a clacker, I don't change the blades because the clacker hits the blade as it comes around. I tried to order more of those, but they were out of stock. I guess everybody likes them. But so that had a big, really big, a 6-inch hollow body. This is just a little smaller. What is this? The 4-inch Zoom swimmer. It's like a shad, kind of basic minnow color. So the cool thing about these hollow bodies is that you can slide them up over this lead and basically hide the entire weight. Just makes a really nice, clean presentation, and it's super easy. The only thing you do other than put it on is put a little super glue on it. So I'm just going to fish it on. And the nice thing about a hollow belly is once you get it started, you're not really in the plastic, so you got room to wiggle it around a little and still get it straight. I'm just going to wet the head a little, make sure I got enough. I have to go up just a little bit more. You don't want to move around too much, but you got to make sure you got enough of the body to cover the head. I'm just going to put a little super glue kind of right on the lead part. And out of all the mods I showed you, this is the easiest. You can do it to almost any buzzbait, and you can change it on the water, and it usually lasts pretty long too. Almost got it. Because it's kind of hard for the fish to pull that bait off of that lead. So yeah, a little crooked. Before the glue dries, get it straight. Put a little bit more glue on there, just to be safe. Super glue is your friend when you're using trailers. I pretty much keep it with me on the boat all the time. 2 and 1 here at the workshop. So yeah, you just want to kind of get it straight. Make sure that the body is straight. And like I said, with the hollow belly, you got room in that belly to move it around. And that weight is just up in here. So this makes a really good bait for getting through cover. I mean, as much as you can with this blade on front, because there's really nothing to get hung up on the front. I'll put a little dab of glue on the front too, just so it doesn't start to pull down when you fish it through the cover. And because I ripped a little hole in it by taking it on and off. And I'd rather have a little extra super glue on the front and be safe about it staying on. So yeah, there it is. Simple to use the hollow belly swim baits to modify these buzz baits that are supposed to have skirts that don't have good keepers. Like this has a great keeper. It's designed not to have a skirt, just to have a bait, just like that. I thought I had one here, just like that Buddha Baits one, the first one I showed you. But yeah, I decided to throw that in there since I had some good footage of me catching. I didn't have a clacker, but putting the bait on is the same. It's just a different body with even less modification. It just came straight out of the pack. So yeah, there you go. My Buzzbait D.I.Y hack. Let's go catch some topwater pre-spawn bass or spawning bass. If you don't know, dragging a buzzbait over a bed gets them pretty pissed off sometimes. You should try it this spring. Alright guys, I'm Ted Lincoln from Ted Lincoln's Fishing Life. I'm out of here.